Shalom. Call halal Yahweh by Shanam Shai by Hashem Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more so than ever. To the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, to be like unto the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners, and to the Akwaf that are listening and learning, to you I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago, coming at you with another lesson in truth. And today's lesson is going to be about your enemies. And how your enemies, although they are losing their power, and it's a beautiful thing, they are still in power. You know, they haven't been stripped of their kingdom just of yet. All right, now it is a glorious thing watching it fall, but yet you have Israelites that are still attempting to build in a place that is dying. You know, if you notice, there's a tree off in the distance, how it has no life on it. You know, the leaves are all gone from it, while all the other trees still have some sort of life. Some leaves are still on it. It is the fall, and the leaves are coming off the trees, but that tree was dead even when all the other trees had life. And that's basically this place. That's your hopes and your dreams, man. All right, you know, it's I can equate it to once what Bar Ross said once, that he said, you know, you got a building that's burning, but on the front door it says now hiring, and you got Jake running in there trying to fill out applications, but the building is on fire, man. So you know, let's just jump right into the scriptures, man. I'm going to start with Sirach. Let me pull my glasses off so I can see better. I don't need them up close. This is the book of Sirach. Verse 12. And 10. And it reads, never trust thy enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. So, you know, you're running to the Egyptians for help. You're running to a political system that's completely been proven over and over again to not do anything for your people. All right, it's not even doing stuff for the people that it was supposedly set up for. How much more you think it's going to work for you, the left or the right hand side? You know, the far left, the far right, the in between. It doesn't matter what it is. You know, like the brothers in the Great Millstone is constantly telling you, you're going to one wing or another wing, but the two wings on the same bird, man. That evil eagle. You know, him that declareth himself as the eagle. The eagle is his standard, man. He can't be trusted. All right? And this is Proverbs 17:9. And it reads, he that covereth a transgression seeketh love, but he that repeateth a matter separateth very friends. So, look, you're covering the transgressions of Esau Edom, of all the wickedness that he's done, trying to make gain in his kingdom, man. And there's nothing to be gained, man. You got you know, Ice Cube is now on this platform of this blackness and politics. P. Diddy is trying to make it a black party. Man, first of all, man, you know, if you people are still stupid enough to refer to yourselves as black, that lets me know that you have no intelligence, you have no understanding, that you're completely gone. All right? There's no such thing as black people. That was a false narrative created by Esau Edom. All right? It's a complete false narrative that they created, you know? Just like there's no such thing as white people. I have a white piece of paper on the table here. No one's flesh is that color. You know, you saw Edomite walk in the frame. His flesh was not white. His flesh was red, man. Pink is red. All right? So, next scripture. We're going to go to the book of Baruch. To the book of Baruch. The 4th chapter and the 25th verse. And it reads, my children, suffer patiently the wrath that is to come upon you from God. For thy enemy has persecuted thee, but shortly thou shalt see his destruction and shalt tread upon his neck. So, hey, we getting ready to get our revenge, man. The revenge is coming. We're getting ready. Hey, this man is going down. His society is crumbling. All right? But you just have to be patient, and patience means to wait, to suffer patiently, man. Matter of fact, let's get a good example of that. Let's go to the book of Revelation. To the book of Revelation. I believe it's 9 and 13. And it reads, oh, nope, not 9 and 13. That scripture am I looking for? Is it 10? Let's turn that off. Salakia. I'm having a hard time finding that scripture. Maybe it's 13 and 9. Yes, this is Revelation 13, 9 and 13 and 9. And it reads, if any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. All right. So who led us into captivity? Who led the biggest captivity in the history of man? They got to go into captivity. All right. Whose blessing was a sword? Those very people who led us into captivity. Right. And they said he must be killed with the sword. Who gets to do that? Us. All right. Here is the patience, which means to suffer patiently, to suffer. All right. And the faith of the saints. We're faithfully waiting. All right. To tread upon the necks of our enemies, man, and get dominion over them. That is what's coming. But you still got people who want to trust in their enemies. There's a video on Netflix called The Barbarians just came out, and there's an Edomite that proudly did a history on it, and I made a comment that this was aesthetically incorrect, and there were plenty of people of color and here, and that's not being portrayed in this series. And he wrote back, no, they were not. They were all 6'6" Aryans. So I told him that's a complete and total lie. Expecting a response is going to embarrass and shame you. And that's what's happening. All the lies, all the historical lies are being revealed, man. All right, and I'm going to prove it. All right, so they're falling. Their lies are not standing anymore. All right, and then I also let them know, by the way, BTW, the true Aryans were Elam, the so-called Indians in India. That the Aryan goes back to, that's part of their culture. All right. So let's go to Sirach 12 and 12. And it reads, actually I'm gonna start at 11, because I read verse 10, all right, when it said never trust thine enemy. So Sirach 12 and 11. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know his rust have not altogether been wiped away. I mean, his filth, his dirt, is still there. He can't be cleaned up. Scripture clearly says that who can make a clean thing out of something that's unclean? Roughly paraphrased, no one, man. Verse 12, set him not by thee, lest he have overthrown thee, and he stand up in thy place. Let him sit, neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at the last remember my words, and be pricked therewith. All right, so in verse 13, who will pity the charmer that is bitten with the serpent, or any such as come nigh wild beasts? So you go playing with wild beasts, go playing with wolves, you get eaten, man. You go playing with lions, you're gonna get mauled, man. All right. Now I'm gonna read a historical example of that mistake, which was made by Jonathan, and Simeon and Simon made the same mistake. You know. Let's go to the book of Maccabees, and this is First Maccabees 12, and let's go with verse 12. And I'm going to start at verse 42. All right, because there's a similar account that happened to Simon, but we're going to read the one about Jonathan, all right? And it reads, now Tryphon saw Jonathan came with so great a force, he durst not stretch his hand against him. So basically, if it's 10 of us and it's 10 of them, they got nothing to say. Matter of fact, if it was 10 of us and 20 of them, they have nothing to say. Now, if it was 2 of us and 10 of them, or 2 of us and 20 of them, they might buck up. That's the nature of Esau Edom, especially if you strapped and they strapped too. All right. Verse 43. But received him honorably and commended him unto all his friends and gave him gifts and commanded his men of war to be obedient unto him as to unto himself. So basically, it said, set him not by thee, lest he seek to take thy place. So he said all these smooth and nice words to Jonathan as if Jonathan had just won battles with and for him. All right. But after he used Jonathan, typical of E, he wanted to get rid of him. Verse 44. Unto Jonathan also he said, why hast thou brought all this people that so great trouble, seeing that there is no war betwixt us? So he's saying, we at peace, brother. You don't need all these men. All right. And they were still a small force as in comparison to the Edomite force, but yet, you know how Jake get down, man. We're so much greater, so much stronger than them. The scripture clearly said, and one shall be stronger than the other. That was clearly talking about us. All right. Verse 45. Therefore send them now home again, and choose a few to wait on thee, and come thou with me to Ptolemais, for I will give it to thee, and the rest of the strongholds and forces, and all that have any charge. As for me, I will return and depart for this cause of my coming. So Jonathan, believing him, did as he bade, and sent away his hosts, who went into the land of Judea, and with himself he retained but 3,000 men, of whom he sent 2,000 in Galilee and 1,000 with him. So he only had 1,000 men with him, all right, believing that he could trust in his enemy, all right. Okay, so when they entered into the gates of Ptolemais, let's read what happened. Verse 48. Now as soon as Jonathan entered into Ptolemais, they of Ptolemais shut the gates and took him, and all them that came with him they slew with the sword. All right. So basically, that 1,000 men got surrounded, probably got hit with arrows from every direction, and then surrounded and charged with the force of probably 10 times the amount, which destroyed them. That's what they did. All right. And neither were they ready for war, because they thought they were at peace. All right. Now that's me extrapolating. I don't know how big the force was, but it had to be a pretty big force. And like he said, he was instructed to, hey, you don't need all these men. Why don't you, just come, and I'm gonna hand over all this land in charge of this area to you. And what did he do? He slew him to try to take his place. All right. So with that, I'm gonna tell you, man, you cannot trust your enemy. But the time is coming where they're gonna have to pay for. Not only do they have to pay for what they're doing to us now, they got to pay for what they did to us way back then, man. Esau has a list that has of crimes that has reached into the heavens. Hence the reason why Babylon is falling. Okay, let's go to the book of Lamentations to finish this lesson. All right. This is Lamentations 4:21, and it reads, rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom. And you saw the little Edomites playing and have a good old time, the teenagers. There was a family to the left over there taking photos and stuff like that. All right. But it says rejoice, and then you got dumbass Jake all up under him. Okay. But once again, verse 21. Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwelleth in the land of Uz. The cup also shall pass unto thee, and thou shalt be drunken, and shall make thyself naked. The punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Edom. He will no more carry thee away into captivity. He will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sins. All right. So you Edomites are not going to get away with all the wickedness you have done. You are close to achieving your goals with your new world order, with your digital currency. All right. With your making people take the shots. But it's going to come to no avail. Call halal Yahweh Bashim Al Shai Bashim Wakakadash Wa Abba Shalom.